This is technology, bro. I
There
never
you
thought
go.
I'd get old. What's going on? Is
It's
it recording?
Yeah, you don't see that red bar?
Brother. What is going on?
That's been
Has there been
crazy.
anything going on new with you? What's been going on, brother?
I don't know, man.
Anything in the world you gotta talk about?
It's just been crazy these last few weeks, you know?
Not that crazy. I mean,
You
I
feel
don't
me?
know. There was some shit with Lizzo, so that shit kind of like, I was like,
Turnouts come out differently than I was
bruh,
expecting.
that shit blew my mind. Like when I heard that shit happen with Lizzo. Anyways, let's get to it. Uh, we are down in the motherfucking basement waiting for the bombs to come and blow our heads off as they're eventually coming. But until then, Chaos Club in the house. Okay. We got Veruca in the house. Look, I got the name right. And Blase Fair coming after crazy ass, maybe not too crazy, pretty much expected political season with Donald Trump obviously becoming the president and running our country again because that's just who we are. I mean, but anyway, that's who we collectively are, but that's not who us individually are. So the individuals will come together and start some shit and do what we have to. Am I right?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So basically, I just want to say how I was disappointed in the Democratic strategy of going to Republicans, never Trumpers, like, which was at most 10%. And they didn't even fucking get that. At most, it was 10% of the electorate, or the Republican electorate, not even the electorate. And for them to go to that far to the right and embrace Liz Cheney and Dick Cheney, like it literally made no sense to me. Like it was like, who are you trying to win over? Who, if anything, you should be trying to win over the people that left the Democratic Party after you fucked Bernie Sanders over, which I should have probably did if I was smart at that time, but I just had more faith in that. And I thought that you guys would actually, I thought that there would be some people at the top that knew that there was a pathway forward for a populist left leaning candidate. Bernie is not even a leftist. Bernie is literally like middle of the road for most of the modern world, but he was so undesirable that they ran two bullshit candidates back to back. Now, granted, Bernie was not running in 2024, but he was definitely running in 2020 when he got fucking shafted, and we all saw that. He was definitely running in 2016 when he got shafted even worse. 2020 was at least like let me lube it up. Like 2016 was just like that shit was not even a joke. And Bernie fell in line. Bernie campaigned both times. Bernie campaigned 2020 for Kamala Harris after that in extremely bullshit as consolidation of Democratic Party. Bernie ran and still was like, Joe Biden's not so bad. He's good on unions. Like he gave y'all, and they said that he didn't campaign enough even. And that's what's crazy to me. Like, it's never enough for the Democratic Party until people stop fucking voting for you guys and people actually see what third parties are. Like, I wish I would have gave Cornel West more of a shot because at least something in my brain might have clicked besides hearing the same bullshit that was spouting on the goddamn mainstream medium for the entire time. Like the same fucking talking points, the same attacks. Like people don't know that Donald Trump is a fascist. Like, oh my God, he's a fascist, but they can't even buy no motherfucking milk or eggs. Like the shit is so expensive that inflation has become a talking point for the motherfucking Republicans. And they're talking about doing tariffs. And I'm not an economic scientist, but I'm pretty sure that tariffs mean that the costs go back to the consumer. It actually just all it does is the companies that bring in goods are actually going to be taxing us and we're gonna get taxed for the transportation of these goods to come to our country because they don't have to fucking come to our country. Like tariffs, I won't say they're dumb, but in this perspective of just a blanket statement of tariffs, like that shit's all bad, bro. Like it doesn't make no sense. I'm sorry. I had to pop off, brother. Veruca, what you gotta say?
So I will say this. So honestly, I was expecting a different turnout during this election.
Really?
Yeah, it was very shocking when I got the results.
Yeah.
Which 250 to like 270.
Yeah. No, he got 312.
312.
And he's the first Republican since 2004 to win the widespread vote as well as the electoral college.
That was just the last time I checked it. Those were results.
Oh damn, we gotta get some fucking internet.
Yeah, but I was very shocked because honestly, I shouldn't say shocked because they kind of did switch out. You feel me?
What do you mean? So do you think if Joe Biden would have stayed in, you think he would?
They would have had at least a better chance.
Joe Biden was polling at 39%, brother. And there was actually a very bad debate performance. I'm sure you fucking saw that shit.
Oh, yeah.
And Joe Biden looked like a fucking zombie. And it was actually really sad to see him dragged on the stage like that. Do you not
think it was a mistake to even put him up?
But when people voted for Joe Biden in 2020, it was more of a transitional candidate. He made it seem like nobody, I don't think, was voting for Joe Biden in 2020 saying, 8 more years, Joe. Like, that was not a thing. Like, they're like, whoo, get this fucking crazy guy out of office, stop COVID, get shit fucking real, and then let's go from there. But it became Joe Biden's hubris and his fucking arrogance and thinking that he's the only one that can beat Trump when there was plenty of polls out there that said that generic Democrat Gavin Newsom could have beat fucking Donald Trump this time.
Bro, you think?
And they ran somebody that had the albatross of Joe Biden around their neck and would not separate from it. Like having a goddamn fucking just a pair of Rana on your neck, and you're like, no, this is good, this is fine. Like, what the fuck are you doing? Nah. That's how you lose voters, bro. That's how you lose voters, low key. Mm-hmm. In my opinion, in my humble opinion of never going to a poli-science class in my life and just following politics forever.
So do you think? So let's get to another point. Since Trump is now in office, what do you think some of his policies are going to have effect on this country?
So, for the most part, I think it's going to affect a lot of the marginalized communities. It's going to obviously affect the economic market with the tariffs coming through that's going to be taxed on. Like, when people think they're paying high prices now, when they start paying higher prices, they're going to be like, what the fuck? I voted for change.
That includes, like, the slashes on, like, welfare and all that stuff, too.
Well, he's not going to be able to implement that on a wide scale because that still, at the end of the day, comes down to, there's federal funding for social programs, but most of the funding comes from the states to already have a backup. So even if he wanted to start getting rid of that shit, it would take a while for it to take full effect, if that makes sense. And people, when they start seeing less and less on their checks, that were, hey, what the fuck? Like, hey. But at that point, it's too late. He's the goddamn president. He do whatever the fuck he wants. He puts billionaires in his fucking cabinet like it's fucking nothing. Like, and everybody's like, he's fighting for us. Is he now? The highest tax cuts that have been seen in a generation going to the top, I want to say 10%, 20% maybe. If I'm being generous, 20%. And those tax cuts are set to expire in 2025, so he's going to be able to put those tax cuts back on, like, hey, we'll extend this longer, but our tax cuts fucking, the middle class and the lower class tax cuts, they expire. Why would, I thought he was man of the people. Like, how does that make any sense? And so that's another thing. It's gonna be harder to there's gonna be deportations, mass deportations. He's already promised that.
Oh yeah, he
So
already promised that.
you definitely know somebody who has family that will be deported, or you know somebody personally that will be deported because they came over here illegally and they're not gonna be able to qualify for DACA, which is the deference against fucking uh something arrival. Deference or something. I don't know. Look who falls in there.